Please plan out your future programs and connect with us through our Secretary General, Madam Vijayalakshmi, and we will start rolling out our programs as we go along, which means a lot of momentum is already set thanks to this program as well. And then the first speaker, Mr. Kumar Vembu, presented so beautifully. So many things he covered, multiple dots he connected. Quickly, I would like to share this with you. Business have to go for digitalization. Delay is less time to catch up. Explained digitization as process to be practiced daily. Digitalization benefits as eliminating dependency, dignity of labor, time and space, better retention, ease of training, lesser waiting time for boss. In fact, he said, how many of you have missed calls? If you have more than 10 calls a day from your office today, which means there's a lot of gaps that has to be filled in. Then he said, transformation required for implementing digitalization, customer journey transformation, culture transformation, that essentially mentioned in a very beautiful way, business model transformation, technology transformation, and finally people transformation. Then he went on saying, there is a historic opportunity and there is no choice for all of us. Leverage and grow instantly. Digitalization is not an event, it's a journey, and start the journey today. As Mr. Padmanabhan beautifully said, he started 1.5 years back, and today when 20,000 people are viewing whatever he writes on a LinkedIn. Why they view? Why 20,000 views, 25,000 views? Because they like it. Not only they like it, they also reshare it. I'm able to see I'm also one of the pattern of your writings. So which means anybody and everybody should start doing it. Many of the entrepreneurs I see from MSME perspective, that we don't really operate our social media handles. How many of us are actually posting in social media? Not just about promo, but about content, your organization's content. How many of us have YouTube channel? How many of us have Insta? How many of us tweet? Not that all the channels have to be handled regularly. At least one channel you can choose, which is very close to your heart, and start building that. It will bring quite a lot of results. It has brought quite a lot of results to me personally. And then second session, Mr. Anil Kumar SG, Samunadi Financial Services, and he spoke about his organization's journey. He spoke on vision and mission and its value chain, the agri value chain he presented. Collaboration needed for exponential growth. Exponential organization is a book which he referred, and he's been talking quite a lot. Whenever I meet him, in fact last week also I met him, he spoke about 45 minutes on this exponential organizations. I just want to connect this with even Mr. Kumar Vel and Mr. Rajesh said. You don't actually have to have a paperback book. I would even suggest Audible. Amazon has got Audible app. I buy books online. All are digital books. I have a digital library. I'm building digital library, which means you can actually listen while you're driving, while you are in the reception waiting for somebody. You can put your Bluetooth and start listening. So 10 minutes you have time to really listen to some of the books, great books. So this Audible is quite popular nowadays, and they are actually offering free credit as well. Monthly one book free. So if you pay $200 to Amazon as a yearly subscription, you get monthly one book free. So 12 books you get free. This is an additional input. So the exponential organizations, what Mr. Anil mentioned, I immediately bought it when I met him, and I'm actually listening to those content. Then he talked about formula, explained on exponential organizations formula. One is idea, I mentioned, hope you recall. The other one is scale, hope you recall. So I'm sure this is going to really revolutionize the way in which we operate business. Leverage external workforce than owning employees. He said, no, employer is outdated. In fact, Mr. Anil used to tell me, I know him for the last 20 years, he used to tell me that love to build co-travelers in the organization. No more employee. No more manager, executive, whatever. Maybe for customer's sake, we may have senior executive, manager, and all that, project manager, all that. But otherwise, internally, they're all co-travelers. That is why in 1974, if you recall, there is a concept which is quite popular in America, and now it's quite popular. I'm actually an activist on that. I've been doing sessions on that called intrapreneurship. There are employees in the organization who have entrepreneurial skills, but they cannot take risk of starting a company on their own like each one of you. And they love to do like entrepreneur, but they cannot start on their own because there is a risk element in terms of financial, aspects. For those guys, you can actually create an intrapreneurship model and create a co-traveling model, and they will actually do better than all of us. If you have a person who's better than you, he's going to bring you 2x for the organization already. And I'll take a little pride and share this. I have built my business of consulting only through that. Zero employee company, zero office company, zero investment company the last 20 years. Everything is actually entrepreneurship model. More than 100 consultants are associated. So this is quite possible. And even if you take Andhra Chamber of Commerce, all of us are honorary people. We are not paid employees. We are all honorary positions we carry. We are all volunteers. We are all humble volunteers. We want to contribute to the society. And this is how the forefathers of our chamber predicted earlier, and they created a model ecosystem. Today it's 95th birthday. So it's quite possible when HGO is able to do, why not each one of you as an entrepreneur? Please think about it. And achieve more with less is what Anil finally ended with. Tap into abundance scale and manage abundance ideas is what finally narrated. Then the third session after the lunch, Mr. Kumarvel came. The topic what we gave to Mr. Kumarvel was brand that matters. When he left, I said, we called you for brand that matters, but you actually revealed so many other things. You actually presented business that matters. So because he covered so much so, even entrepreneurs need motivation, some inspiration, some motivation, because we are all bogged down with our day-to-day job. The kind of presentation and narration and articulation that he made, gesticulation he did, is something very inspiring. So many points he covered quickly. He said, believing in oneself, unlearn and relearn. He said, there's a book he referred. How many of you recall the book he referred by Alvin Toffler? He said he read it long ago, and then absolutely. I read that book 15 years ago. My cousin gifted to me. Wonderful book. If you read that book, you will be really amazed. Every single minute, something is changing in our life, as all of us know. But how it is really impacting in our business, in our professional, personal life is what matters. So this book is from Alvin Toffler. And unlearn, relearn is what Mr. Kumarvel specifically mentioned. Then he mentioned formal education to sustain and continuous education for fortune. It's so beautiful. I repeat, formal education for sustenance and continuous education for creating fortune. Then he said, be eternal optimist, value people, be true to yourself, celebrate life. This is, I think, very profound, I believe. Every single day when we wake up and we go to bed every day night, I think we have to celebrate life. We don't celebrate because we have been taught from our old school of thought that we should not expose anything outside. I would say with a strong note that I think we should put whatever little success that we create in our life in terms of business, we should put it up on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. Let people know, let people talk, let them say you are self-boasting. Yes, I am self-boasting because I made it. Right? You don't know how many people get inspired. When people are bogged down and suffering with a lot of failures, when they see this, they get motivated. How many calls you receive when they see that, sir, I am so inspired, I would like to do something like that. In fact, some of you are sitting here are known to me. I used to tell many times, if you could recall, please create small 3 minutes, 2 minutes video about your product, services and success stories with your customer. And tell the world so that a lot of people out there, they wanted to get inspired through you. You should be an inspirational leader. Nothing wrong about it. And then even Mr. Kumarvel said, be unreasonable. There's a word he used, be unreasonable. Those days when we say we are unreasonable, parents used to say, be reasonable. Today, the businessman who made a success, who have 12,000 employees, 700 outlets says, be unreasonable. I think when all these things are appreciated only when successful people come and talk. Whereas if our uncle and aunt sitting in a remote village, they say they don't know anything. Been there and done it. These people are there, already achieved, and they are saying, I think the world will believe. So let's take these inputs seriously. And he also mentioned so nicely about how he actually converted this unorganized to organized. So identify the problem, how he saw it as an unorganized sector and made it as an organized sector and made it as a grand success. One of the gentlemen has from that corner, Can you provide a suggestion like how we can utilize the retail shops and unorganized companies who are out there in different parts of the country? How do I make it more, profitable and productive? He mentioned choose the unorganized sector and make it organized. I think business is all about, like what Philip Kotler said in MBA we used to study. Business is nothing but, anybody? Business is nothing but, what is business? Philip Kotler said during MBAs we studied, business is organizing. No great shake. It's not skyrocketing. And then finally, Mr. Rajesh Srinivasan came, and a deep thinker, as I mentioned in the beginning, in the morning. He always tries to bring this balance between this online and offline, the physical and online. So beautifully explained 2-3 examples with that. And he also mentioned 3 books. Can you recall those 3 books which he said, suggested us? Creative Confidence is number 1. Then Competing Against Luck. Third, Delivering Happiness. These 3 books he suggested. I humbly request each one of you to kindly pick up this book, either through Audible, which is anyway free, monthly 1 book, and you start listening to that. He mentioned putting oneself in customer's shoe. And number 2, he talked about market segment importance, like the juice shop story which he mentioned. Third, he talked about ladder of engagement, how the physical, social to the physical, how it can create connectivity. Finally, ended with the human and technology, use technology at scale, human for relationship. While he was sharing this input, what popped up my mind was like, top line, we'll use digital, bottom line, we'll use human. So we can increase our productivity and profitability. So these are the 4 sessions. I just quickly picked up a few points with the help of Dr. Shivpriya and shared here. What we will do is we will share the PowerPoint that has been presented by the 2 speakers. We will deliver it to you, ma'am, Vijay Lakshmi. We will email it to all the participants so that you can preserve it for your usage. With that, I'd like to come to a vote of thanks, customary inputs. Thank you very much. First, KCP, Madam President company. She is the diamond sponsor. And then we had gold sponsors like S Bank and GRT. I should mention GRT. GRT is also our executive committee member, Mr. Anand, MD. Just last week he called, he said, pick up, choose anybody. I will become the gold partner and support whoever is not able to really come all the way or who cannot afford to pay, we will sponsor them. So it is a generous attitude, a generous gesture of GRT as well. Thanks to GRT. And we have silver sponsors, like of course Satwa is there, Satwa Group, and then Nane Migdan, BCC Martech, and Dots Media. Of course, Dot Media is actually doing this live relay. Andhra Chamber of Commerce has got a YouTube channel. Kindly go and subscribe to it. Also, the YouTube partner Dots Media, kindly subscribe to the channel as well, because they would like to do quite a lot of support to Andhra Chamber of Commerce down the line. Program head is sitting right here. They said any of the programs, MSME program or any of the entrepreneur subcommittees program, we would like to partner with you so that we can record and share, not just entertainment, politics alone on the YouTube channels. We can also encourage entrepreneurs to take part. That is why we suggested each one of you, you can actually have a offline interaction with the Dots Media. You can talk about your products and your services. They have interviewed all the speakers offline after the session was over. It will be published in the YouTube channel. So thanks to all the partners who supported us. And finally, the last but not the least, I should have mentioned first, Friedrich Naumann Foundation. Friedrich Naumann Foundation is a great supporter of this event. And all the executive committee members, all the chairman and co-chairman of all the 16 subcommittees of Andhra Chamber of Commerce and dignitaries on the dais relentlessly supported this conference to happen so successfully. And finally, our Secretary General, Madam Vijay Lakshmi, and her team, MC, Prabha, and all the team members like Dr. Shivpriya, everybody. Thank you so much. So nicely you put across this program. And thank you very much for staying back. We have tea and snacks available, high tea. After this, you can have your IT and then have a great day. Take care. We'll come back soon with another program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request you all to rise up for the national anthem, please.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे। गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।